Greetings everyone. This is the tournament winning Jinteki PE deck that I recently played in my Netrunner live event. Today I'm getting some more practice on it, and I found a juicy target for myself. Andromeda. Get ready to lose your entire hand. Alright, so this is the ideal opening you're looking for. This will happen only in maybe 20 or 30% of your games. Probably less. Come on, let's be honest. Hedge fund ice. Considering that I'm running 9 pieces of ice, having 2 of them in my opening hand with a hedge fund is a huge luxury. Alright, so he plays Triumph Contract, which I'm very, very happy to see. Triumph basically means that if he fails to clear the tag after the snare, he is dead. Alright, I begin by installing something. Not exactly sure what that something was. Oh, a ShiQ, yes, I installed a ShiQ. So to see how aggressive he is with running, to test the waters a little. Seeing that he is focused on the centrals by throwing out the Mimic and York right off the bat, I go for the Ronin. He doesn't contest the Ronin, I'll leave it there since I cannot flatline him yet. But anytime he ends his turn with less than 3 cards in hand, I win the game. This should not be too difficult because that basically means that anytime he hits the snare, it's game over for him. Alright, he finds the Gila Hands, and which I'm quite happy about because that means that I get to play my Cerebral overwriter next turn. Now I'm definitely concerned that both my eyes are porous to him since he threw out the Mimic and York blindly, but I'm fine with it for the most part because central access doesn't really hurt me. The only thing that really hurts me is Count Siphon. That's the one thing that we're really worried about. Alright, I find the wall of static, so that goes up, and down goes the Jackson. Jackson's pretty important for various reasons, so it's always nice to throw it out of my hand instead of letting him kill it from HQ. Alright, he plays another Triumph, so if he gets tagged, he is really hot soup. Alright, meanwhile, I get the Gila Hands going because I really need economy right now, so I attempt to score the Gila Hands. And I masquerade it as one of those 2 advanced stuff. He finally attempts to contest one of them, and well, Cerebral, he is now Cerebral overwritten. So he's down to 2 cards and a max hand size of 3. This is more or less sure doom for a criminal because they have no forms of net damage prevention. I draw into a single snare. Well, he's in a lot of trouble. He ran HQ and wants to see the single card that's in my hand. I'm more than happy to show him the snare, and because he didn't draw, he lost the game. Alright, so if you are playing standard Andromeda like this guy is, and you're up against just this Jinteki deck, what can you do? To be honest, there's not much you can do. This is a very hard counter to a lot of criminals, especially those who have not splashed any recursion tactics. If you contest the centrals only, you will be susceptible to double Ronin. If you contest the remotes, you are going to get hit by a lot of net damage. You know what? I think traditional criminals have now met their match. I think criminals need to find more and more ways to diversify, not just stick to the same old breaker suite, Desperado, security testing, data sucker. They need to diversify within their own faction to gain more knowledge about the Corp and what they are doing, their shenanigans. Criminals have some of the most useful ways to combat Jinteki shell game in faction, most notably expose effects, and perhaps exposing HQ also really helps. That gives you an indication of whether you should run HQ or not. There's a reason why this deck doesn't run Celebrity Gift for economy, even though it is a very powerful way of gaining economy with just a single card. You really don't want to show what you have in your hand because you want to bait the runner into making wrong runs or deter them from making runs when there are actually a lot of genders for them to steal. So I believe that criminals should try to pack a couple of these cards into the deck to mitigate the amount of net damage they'll face when checking the shells, and ignoring the shells really isn't an option. One of the better ways to challenge the remotes is to go for remotes that have been advanced, because the worst that you can face is the Cerebral Overrider. Now that's terrible. Of course, that's the worst thing you can face. But anything else is fine. Because the moment a card is advanced, you know it cannot be a Snare or a Psychic Field. These are the two most lethal cards in terms of taking lots of net damage, taking lots of cards away from your hand as the runner. When a card is advanced, all it could be is either an Agenda, or a Cerebral Overrider, or a Ronin, which you immediately trash, or a Junebug, which is less likely because Junebugs have many limitations that cause even this deck to not want to pack inside. Of course, a 1 or 2 off Junebug could be really nasty, but most of such decks won't want to pack Junebugs, really. And with Jinteki being on the rise, perhaps it is high time to consider including cards that increase your max hand size, be it Public Sympathy or Theophilus Backbiter, which coincidentally, or perhaps intentionally, is in the criminal faction. Think about it. Thanks for watching and have a good time. See you around.